What's going on, guys and gals? My name is Neko Fluttershy and welcome to a video. So let's talk about if Capcom makes a Resident Evil 4 remake. Oh boy! Yes, Resident Evil 4, the game that almost everybody says is the best Resident Evil title. You know, in my personal opinion, Resident Evil 6 is the best one. Fuck Resident Evil 4 when you have Resident Evil 6. But anyways, you know, Resident Evil 4 is one of those games that is everywhere. Got its start on the GameCube and the PS2 and things like that. Actually, it was originally supposed to be a GameCube title, and GameCube only. But then Capcom was like, you know what? Let's make it for every platform known to fucking man. And so they made fucking Resident Evil 4 on the PS3. They made it on the PS2. They made it, I think, on the 360. I don't know. They made it on mobile. They put it on the PS4. They put it on here, and basically every single fucking platform you can think of, they have Resident Evil 4. You know, hell, I'm sure maybe your dog or your cat can play Resident Evil 4. I don't know. Just shove a controller up its ass and there you go. You're playing Resident Evil 4. But in all seriousness, though, I do believe that, you know, if Capcom is going to make a remake of Resident Evil 4, here is what I personally would like to see, and things that I would like to see, you know, either implemented into the game or, you know, gone in the remake. Because there is a few things I'd like to see. Now let's get right off the bat. Let's talk about Ashley Graham for a little bit. Now honestly, I didn't mind her as a character all that much. The only problem I did have was the escort missions, which a lot of people agree on. The escort missions were probably the only drawback from Resident Evil 4, from making it the perfect Resident Evil game and a perfect video game as a whole. But ultimately, you know, I don't mind Ashley as a character, right? I don't really care all that much. Like I said, I don't really care about the escort missions and that fucking puzzle that you had to do, that sliding puzzle where you had to, at least I think you know, that only time where you did play as Ashley, I do believe you had to do a sliding puzzle, I think. God damn, I hated that. So the first thing that needs to be said is skip and get rid of every escort mission ever. Get rid of it. No, nobody fucking likes those. Okay, get rid of the escort missions. No one likes those. And, you know, I'm sure there's gonna be like one or two people in the comments, or, you know, they're gonna be like, you know what? Yeah, I actually did not mind the escort missions. I think they enhanced the game. And every one of us is looking at you like you're a fucking crazy person. Nah, I'm just fucking around. But in all seriousness, though, like, okay. My thoughts on the whole thing is, if, you know, if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna do some escort missions, do them right. Okay, that's the first thing. You know, make the escort missions properly, to where you don't consider it a burden to you, or consider it a burden to, you know, the game, or a slowdown, or something like that. Make it to where people actually want the escort missions, which, let's face it, there's not a whole bunch of people that do want that. And, you know, if that is a thing that needs to happen, if you know, Capcom, if you are hell-bent on making escort missions, make them good, okay? Make them far and few between, because nobody fucking loves those things. And even if people do like them, there's not enough people that do like them to warrant actually having them in the game 24/7. Because I swear, Ashley gets fucking kidnapped way more than Princess Peach in a single game. She is the damsel in distress to end all damsels in distress. Nah, I'm just fucking around. But in all seriousness though, I mean, she is. I mean, literally, she gets kidnapped like every fucking chapter. And, you know, I think personally, make her a more independent character. If you're going to make Ashley Graham a character in the game, then she needs to be better. Make it to where Leon doesn't have to rely on Ashley all the time. Make it to where Ashley doesn't have to rely on Leon all the time. I mean, it's really simple. Now, like I said, I love the character. Honestly, like, okay. Being gender fluid, this has nothing to do with the video, but I'm gonna point it out anyway. Being gender fluid, I kind of like the name Ashley. Like, if I were to go out as a female, you know, wear dresses and things like that, I'm thinking, you know, maybe I should consider myself Ashley. Now, why? Well, I got the idea from Ashley Graham. Actually, first off, I like that name to begin with. And secondly, I can associate the name Ashley with the character from Resident Evil, or a character in a video game that I love playing. Now, ultimately, you know, my thoughts on Resident Evil 4, I just don't really like that game compared to 6 and all the other games, but that's not to say that I don't enjoy Resident Evil 4. It's a tolerable game for me. You know, I just like 6 better, right? And things like that. But anyways, enough talking about that. Let's talk about, you know, what else I'd like to see in Resident Evil 6. Or, Resident Evil 6. Resident Evil 4 Remake. I would like to see better controls. Now, yes, I do like the controls that the game has already. It kind of reminds you a little bit of Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, but without too much tank controls. And I'm pretty sure some people can get used to the kind of controls and things like that, and whatever, which is fine. You know, some people can get used to control schemes a lot better than others. I can't exactly do that. Like, okay, for example, I can't exactly get used to certain controls all that much. Like, after a while, yeah, I can. But, you know, after that while, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just like, yeah, I don't really care. But, yeah, also my apologies for not talking a whole bunch there. Yeah, I was kind of focused on, you know, the game. But, anyways, so, yeah, the controls need to change a little bit. I think the controls need to be enhanced to match, you know, like, if you're gonna do a remake, or a remaster, or anything, you have to fucking go all the way. Make the controls better. Make them like you did in Resident Evil 2 and 3. Or make them like you did in Resident Evil 6. I mean, Resident Evil 6's control schemes were a hell of a lot better than Resident Evil 4. I can tell you that much right now. Like, honestly, I loved Resident Evil 4. Right? It's not as good as 6, but it was tolerable. But how you make the game more tolerable is by adding, you know, different controls. And, you know, that's cool. But ultimately, what I would like to see, yeah, controls are great and whatever, but I'd also like to see a story mode. Well, not a story mode, the whole game's a fucking story. But I want to see a story of how these characters came to be. I want to see how Leon came to be from, his Resident Evil 2 form to his Resident Evil 4 form. How he became just a police officer of the Raccoon City division, all the way to an actual secret, I can't even talk. A secret agent or a secret service agent or something like that. I'd love to find out how he became that. What kind of steps did he take to get that far? How, is he this badass that can roundhouse kick like a madman? How can he jump through windows without getting hurt? How can he do this? How can he do that? I'd love to find out more about Leon. And also, while we're talking about characters I'd love to see stories for, let's talk about Ashley again. I'd like to see how Ashley is handled in these games. Like, what is her story? How did she manage to get kidnapped? How did she get from the US all the way to Europe? How? No, seriously, how? That is my fucking question. Wait, was it Europe? I think it was Europe. I don't know. It's been a while since I played the game, so I can't remember exactly where, people took her. But I want to see the whole story behind how she got kidnapped and why she got kidnapped. What did they need her for? That sort of thing. Some things need to be better explained in that game, or, if they make a remake. And what about Ada? What is her story like? How is she the way she is in the game and things like that? But, that's fine and all. That's great to look at, right? Also, I'd like to see more stories between Leon and Krauser. That boss fight with Krauser from, Resident Evil 4, duh. I want to see how Krauser got that way. What was promised to him to make him basically abandon ship with Leon? What made him abandon his friendship with Leon and turn to the dark side? That is a very important question that needs to be answered a little bit better if they have not really answered too far into the game. Which, it's been a while since I played the game, so they may have answered it, they may not have. I cannot fucking remember. Okay, like I said, it's been a lot. Stop it. It's been a while. But, I want to, just overall, I'd like to see what the characters are like. How did they get from point A to point B? What was their journey like to get as far as they did? Now, ultimately, another thing I'd like to see is, I want to see this game, if they do decide to release it and make it official and make it a thing, I want to see it ported everywhere. I want to see it on the PS4 and Xbox One. I want to see it, whoa! Wow, that fucking took me far. But yeah, I want to see it ported onto the PS4, Xbox One, PS5, Xbox Series X, which obviously they're going to do that for the PS5 and things like that because, well, it's the more modern console, right? So you gotta do something like that. However, whoa, shit. Stop doing that! Seriously, what the fuck? No, you fucking piece of dog shit. Stop. But anyways, I digress. So the thing about it is, and this is why we need this thing to be on as many consoles as possible. See, here's the thing about it. If you do this, then, that means that you'll get more money right off the bat. You will get more money because more people will be open to the game. More people will have the ability to play that game. And from a financial standpoint, do it. That makes a lot of sense. Now, after all this sensical bullfuckery, you know, well, yeah, after all that nonsensical bullfuckery, you know, it's important to realize that, again, from a financial standpoint, you need all the money you can get, right? Your goal as a game company not only is to please your audience and make amazing video games, but it's also to, you know, basically it's also to basically just make as much money as possible. And what better way to do that than to make it available on pretty much every console. Make it available on the Switch, make it available, you know, yeah, like make it available for the Switch, make it available for the PS4 and things like that. Like, make it more accessible to people so you can get more, you know, reviews and more people telling you, hey, this game is great. Oh, here's what this game needs work on, and things like that. Because ultimately, I think that would make it a better experience for a lot of people, myself included. Because I don't have the latest high-tech bullfuckery, right? And, you know, yes, I am considering about getting a computer, but that doesn't exactly mean that, you know, I'm gonna have the most high-tech, badass computer that could, in theory, run this game, if it were to come out, right? Because as video games are evolving, we're seeing more and more games require higher specs and, you know, to run the game minimally, you know. And ultimately, just make it available for everybody, so I can still play it on, you know, console and on, you know, on PS4, because I have a PS4. Look at this, I'm playing Doom Eternal right now on this thing. But ultimately, I do think that it needs more, you know, people to play it. You need more people to see your game and to realize it exists and things like that. So, you know, again, make it available to everybody. Now, what needs to stay the same? Keep everything the way that it, well, not everything the way that it is, but make it enjoyable. Bring the charm of Resident Evil 4 into everywhere. Make it better. Make more people... Whoa! That was close. But make it to where, you know, people can still remember that it's Resident Evil 4. And they can still, you know, just do whatever. But make it new. Basically, a remake is the same game, only told either from a different standpoint, different perspective, things like that. Seriously, why the fuck did it go to the BFG automatically? What the fuck? Fuck you. Stupid Doom Eternal. And now I'm getting fucked by imps. And these guys, fucking Baron of Hells and Dread Knights. But anyways, wow, I think that was a glitch. But anyways, you know, I think I may have said this before, I'm not sure. But take your time. If you're going to make a video game, and this goes for any game, regardless of what it is, Resident Evil Remake, Doom Eternal on the PS5, whenever they get there, you know, XYZ, make it good. Take your time with these games. Make sure the game is well polished before you put it out. Because if you don't do that, your game is gonna suck. A wise man once said, a delayed game is eventually good, but a bad game is bad forever. or something similar to that. And you want to know who said that? Shigeru Miyamoto. And he's not wrong. You know, I for one would rather have a very well polished game right from the beginning instead of day one updates. And that's why I keep thinking that video games are going downhill and things like that, because of the fact that, you know, there's all these day one updates, and, you know, it seems like these game developers don't really care about their audience anymore. They don't really give 2.5 fucks about, you know, the fan base that they... And honestly, if it weren't for the fans, and if it weren't for the people that, you know, that gave you money and made you the successful company you are, you wouldn't be this way. You wouldn't be successful. If it weren't for us, you know, then it wouldn't have that much success compared to, you know, what you have now. So, and you know, I time and again, and this is why EA is a fucking laughingstock right now, why Activision is somewhat of a laughingstock as well, because it's like for a while, oh, microtransactions, oh, this and that, and whatever. Like, honestly, we don't need that many microtransactions. We don't need this and that into these things. So make your game good, okay? Make it good. Take your fucking time and don't ruin the game. Because then, you know, later down the line also, people are gonna be like, oh, have you ever played Resident Evil 4? Oh, you mean that shitty Resident Evil 4 that the developers rushed and was not good because XYZ? Basically, you're gonna fucking tarnish the reputation of what Resident Evil 4 is. And now I understand, you know, some people, they don't want a Resident Evil 4 remake specifically for that reason. They're worried that they're gonna fuck it up. That, you know, Capcom is gonna make a Resident Evil 6 kind of game, because a lot of people don't really seem to like that game. I have no problem with it. I fucking love it. It's like my favorite Resident Evil game of all time. But, you know, from what I'm seeing and hearing, I'm basically one of the vocal minority. You know, everybody else is like, oh, this game sucks, that game sucks, and whatever. But it doesn't, you know, like, they think of it as a bad game. Fuck. But, you know, it's a thing that you need to make sure that if you're going to go through with making a remake of something that a lot of fans enjoyed over the years, take your time to make it good. Make it a game that everybody and their cat is going to love. For both old fans of Resident Evil as a whole and Resident Evil 4, and new fans alike. You know, like, we need a game that, you know, not only are the fans proud of, but the company is also proud of as well, and vice versa. Because again, you know, these companies would not be where they are if, you know, if we didn't exist, if we didn't consume their products, if we said, you know, fuck Resident Evil or something like that. You know, they wouldn't be where they are right now if... Fuck you. Piece of shit toast. Oh, here we go. But yeah, you know, anyways, guys and gals, you know, ultimately that's what that's what I want to see in a Resident Evil 4 remake. Again, to recap, make it available for all platforms. Don't just make it for, you know, just the PS5 and Xbox Series X. Make it available for everyone, you know, so more people can buy your product and things like that. You know, more people can do that. Get rid of all the, you know, the escort missions of Ashley Graham. I mean, you can still add her in the game because she was a big part of Resident Evil 4. You know, ultimately, Leon went to that area to find and rescue her. But at the end of the day, you know, there is no need for all those escort missions. They were a waste of time. Everybody hated them. And even if people do like them, you know, it's only, again, the vocal minority that do like them. A whole bunch of people just despise them, and it's going to despise a lot more people if you do this. This is your chance to make Resident Evil 4 better. This is your chance to make Resident Evil 4, you know, the game of the future. The game that everybody wants to play. A game that everybody will be talking about for generations and generations. The same way Sonic did with Sonic Generations, how everybody was talking about how good that game was. You need to do the same with Resident Evil. But yeah. Anyways, guys and gals, that is going to be it for this video. Let me know what you guys and gals think, actually. What do you think about Resident Evil 4 Remake, if they do decide to remake it? Like, what are your thoughts on all of this? Like, do you think that they should go through with making a remake? I think it's fine if they do. And it's only right that they do so because, oh yeah, you know, Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 got remakes. So, and those turned out pretty good, you know, from what I've heard. I played the, okay, so I played the remake on the GameCube, right? The more so remaster, remake on the GameCube. That's good, that's great. And then I played the PC version. The PC version is slightly better. So, I mean, that can be done. You know, it is a thing that has happened before. And, you know, another thing that needs to be done is just, you know, make it great. But yeah, like I said, you know, let me know what you guys and gals think about a Resident Evil 4 remake. Because I think it's fun. I think it'd be a great addition to video game history. And it's also about time. You know, like, I think it's time that Capcom should stop porting Resident Evil 4 onto everything. And just making a remake, as they should have done from the beginning. But anyways, guys and gals, like I said, that's going to be it for this video. If you like this video, give this video a like if it's fun too. Don't forget to comment down below your thoughts on the whole damn thing. And don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon down below to get notified of my future uploads and live streams and whatever the fuck else that I do. Follow me on Twitch because I do some live streams on there occasionally. And as always, I will see you all, well, shit, in the next video. Peace out, people, and Brohoof. Boom. Also, DJ, you need to do better. Sure, you're 2-star rank in 128, but damn it, Barry B. Simpin and NYC Goody, they have a lot more lifetime experience than you do. Get to it!